Have you ever seen a friend repeatedly fall for the same toxic type and wondered why? That was my friend Julie's life for years. I'm Zade, and Julie and I have been inseparable since freshman orientation, bonding over late-night pizza runs and group projects. But every time she introduced me to her new boyfriend, I realized I'd seen that pattern before. When Julie was 8, her father's temper ruled their small apartment, yelling, echoing down the hallway, doors slamming at breakfast, and him disappearing for days after a fight. She spent more nights holding her teddy bear than sleeping in a safe silence. In high school, Julie became the girl who stayed late after class just to avoid going home. She joined every study group, babysat neighbors, even volunteered at the library, anything to dodge Dad's unpredictable rage. In sophomore year, she met Mark at a game night, was the star basketball player with a killer smile and no interest in commitment. At first, he texted every hour. She felt special, but as soon as midterms arrived, his texts vanished. Julie told herself, if I just stay supportive, he'll come back. That was the first but. But when Mark ghosted her during homecoming week, the pain echoed the nights her dad walked out the door. She convinced herself that if she could make him call her again, it would erase the shame of being abandoned at 10. She sent him long voice memos amid midnight study sessions. He replied once with a shrug emoji. By junior year, Julie was the go-to advice giver, always helping classmates with essays and relationship drama, yet her own heart was missing from every conversation. In her mind, being helpful meant she was worthy of someone's love, unlike the 8-year-old shivering on a cold kitchen floor. Then came Ryan, a campus volunteer who listened to her concerns but snapped at her friends behind her back. He'd say, "You're the only one who matters," but also text her every day at 2 a.m. demanding explanations for why she wasn't online. Julie believed his jealousy was proof he cared, just like her dad's anger was his way of showing he mattered. That was another but. But jealousy is control, not love. Controlling glimpses of his face on her Instagram feed left her feeling trapped. She spent late nights in our college dorm back courtyard, staring at the starlit sky, wishing she could rewrite her dad's words, "You're worthless." Ryan's angry text became her chance to prove she was worthy. If she could just make him love her, she thought, Dad's words would disappear. Psychology calls this repetition compulsion, replaying old pain in the hope of healing it. Julie's brain kept chasing those highs, waiting for Ryan's apology text, as if it were a substitute for her father's forgiveness. In senior year, she started seeing a counselor during lunch breaks in an empty classroom, crying about how every time a guy went silent, she felt Mr. Samuels from history class might be next to disappear. She told her counselor, "I'm so tired of replaying my dad's mistakes. I just want someone who stays for pizza nights, not someone who leaves behind broken promises." As we walked across campus on graduation day, caps in hand, Julie hesitated before saying, "I realize now that I was dating my dad's shadow, disappearing affection, threatening silence." That day, she broke up with Aaron, her senior project partner, because he exactly matched Dad's pattern, loving on Monday, gone by Wednesday. For the first time, she felt relief, like stepping out of a dark room into sunlight. Still, even months later, she would flinch each time her phone buzzed, bracing herself for another "I'll text you tomorrow" that never came. That's how zipping back to childhood happens in an instant. Julie looked at me and said, "I'm done chasing ghosts. I'm learning to let someone love me without making me feel small." Sending her off at graduation, I saw a spark in her eyes that felt new, like finding her own worth. So here's my question to you and to Julie. If you find yourself drawn to someone who repeats your parents' worst traits, How do you start choosing someone who shows up instead of reliving old pain? If Julie's story hit home, hit subscribe. I'll keep sharing real stories like hers, so we know we're not alone. And drop a comment. When did you realize you were chasing a ghost, not a real partner?